Hello, and welcome to Level With Me. This is my show where I play through games and talk about what I think the level design is doing. And today we are still a little bit about halfway through Black Mesa Source, which is a remake of Half-Life 1 in the Half-Life 2 engine. Today we're going to be playing some of questionable ethics, which is, I think, among level designers, probably considered one of the better, or maybe even one of the best chapters of the original Half-Life 1. So it'll be interesting to see how questionable ethics gets adapted for Black Mesa. And contrary to this menu screen backdrop right here, that's not questionable ethics. That's a whole big dam set piece. That's for a chapter called Surface Tension. So that actually looks like a bug to me. It's displaying the next chapter instead of the current chapter we're on. Anyway, let's play some questionable ethics and see what we got here. But other than that, how's everyone doing today? I'm doing okay. Not that anyone asked, but I mean, it's a little cloudy today here in New York, but it's not too bad. Okay, so we are in the beginning of questionable ethics. We just finished a big chapter that was called Apprehension. And Apprehension was like a big sewer level kind of thing, slash toxic waste dump slash garbage mountain of a level. So the fact that we're back here in this kind of setting where this is more of like a modern sci-fi clean lab environment. That's a pretty big change from the previous levels that we were just playing. None of these retinal scanners will open for us because we don't have access. So, as we go through this chapter, this is probably what the main set piece will hinge on. Who has retina scanner access and how you find someone who does have retina scanner access, which is actually kind of interesting because this is a mechanic that Half-Life 1 introduced like 6 or 7 chapters ago. So if you're playing Half-Life 1 for real at home, you would have learned about this like 4 or 5 hours ago in your playthrough and then not really thought about it that much until now it suddenly returns and you're like, oh yeah, retina scanners exist. Interesting. I can hear some monsters down there. I think I hear some hound eyes. Oh, and then over here we get the introduction of a new enemy. These are the alien grunts. They're kind of sexy. I don't know. I mean, maybe I'm just projecting. Maybe I'm just saying too much about myself here. Oh, that's not good. Right, they're kind of like big, burly alien bears a little bit. Their arms, they kind of have these like... They don't have fingers, right? Instead, they have these like... I mean, I'm not going to say what that looks like, but I would say their arms look like a certain piece of anatomy, which is interesting. Now, I think from a story perspective, you're supposed to see this enemy, and if you're an observant player, you might recognize that this might remind you of another enemy you've fought before, the Vortigaunts, the electricity monsters, right? Who run around and shoot green bolts at you. So here they actually have similar anatomy, right? So a canny, observant player, Half-Life never really spells this out until maybe the very end. But the idea is that these are like the genetically modified like soldier variants of the aliens we've been fighting before previously. But yeah, it looks like this guy has definitely spent too much in the sauna. Maybe lay off the steroids a little bit. I mean, some steroids are fine. No judgment. But, you know, be careful. I mean, but there's definitely just like sexy Minotaur, like dildo arm stuff going on. There's definitely some sex stuff going on here that I think Valve has never officially acknowledged. But we'll just slowly back away and oh, I like okay, so this is actually also like a set piece. This whole enemy introduction is actually recreated from the original 2, where you walk into a room and you see a giant tank and then you see the grunt stuck in the tank. Can you break the glass for him? No, I guess not. I like that they've like expanded the giant like case housing right here. I think they will reuse it a lot throughout this chapter, but I like all these big hoses going into the machine here. The hoses don't look very realistic though. They're kind of textured in a very impressionistic, almost hand-painted kind of way. They could probably use a normal map or two to emphasize the realism, but then they might be too like sharp and busy. I don't know. Maybe it's okay if they look kind of soft. Yeah, and then as D. Morsing points out in the chat, we also get this lovely projected shadow here on the wall. And that's another Black Mesa innovation. That's Black Mesa showing off, look, we have real-time dynamic shadows. And it looks like, oh, can we... Oh, wait, oh, that was the wrong button. Oops. I just gassed them. Oops. I thought that was the button to open them. Can I push these other buttons? Oh. I'm sorry. Huh, I wonder if that's kind of intentional though, because if you look at this panel, it's not really clear which of these are interactive, right? All these buttons look like they're kind of interactive, but not really. How's I supposed to know that poison gas button was going to be the one that I actually press? So that's kind of interesting, I guess, where it's maybe like the vagueness of Half-Life's interactive thing. Yeah, lets you role play a little bit of like an accident like that, or unintentionality, or maybe some really just twisted sadistic players just really get off gassing these poor alien soldiers who want to kill us. Let's see what else. Ooh, this glass cabinet's interesting. Oh, can't open it though. It's not that kind of game. Let's see. One nitpick here, it's a little bit strange that the light from this lamp is going through this desk right here and casting onto this computer tower right here. But that's because Half-Life, or Source 1 really, doesn't necessarily light map everything. You know, like it might be based off the light map origin, or you know, you'd kind of have to hack it a little bit to make sure, or set this computer tower to vertex lighting and then try to bake, hopefully it'll catch the shadows. Probably not. But anyway, yeah, that's just a nitpick. Sorry to any Black Mesa devs shaking their head right now at me. Should we duck under there? Well, let's keep exploring. I think this feels like the critical path, so let's make sure we looked at everything. Yeah, it looks like we did everything here. Oh, I like the signage here. Let's see, lighting-wise, you'll notice that they did have to keep everything pretty dark in shadow, right? Because they want to make sure the main key light of this room is this green tank, glowing green tank in the middle to kind of draw your eye to it. But then it does end up feeling a little bit silly. Like, I'm not sure how I feel about these little, like, windows right here. Because I'm not sure if you... Oops. I'm not sure if you'd want to necessarily uplight on the ceiling here. Because it just makes me think, like, oh, what am I looking at up there, right? The window is so big that it makes me, yeah, wonder why that's there. I think maybe I would redesign the top of this tank. I mean, if I were working on Black Mesa still, I'd probably change that window shape so that's not throwing so much light upwards. I'd maybe like try to put some overhang or shutter thing over to try to push more light downwards, maybe, but still get a similar effect. And then over here we have like a little workstation. I like that it's just one spotlight here. It feels appropriately a little bit dark and moody. And I like these, yeah, I like this ladder and this utility ladder catwalk thing. It echoes, oh, there's weird green color correction going on when I enter this. That's interesting. I also like the ladder here because it also makes the lab feel a little bit of an industrial kind of setting. You'll recall that a lot of the labs in Half-Life 2 often, a lot of the lab rooms often have like little mezzanine catwalk kind of things. That makes it feel more technical and sci-fi-ish because, you know, this isn't necessarily domestic architecture. I mean, although you'd find this definitely in Brooklyn, right? You know, this is classic Brooklyn loft, where, you know, you go up here and then there's someone's bed here, and then maybe they like have their phone charging right here. But it's decidedly unusual for like single family housing in Arizona or most of America. See what else is going on here. Yeah, just some more cool screens, vaguely microscopic genetic kind of things, I guess. So again, an observant player, oh, that's weird, the normal map is showing through the paper decal they put on here, so that looks a little bit strange. Oh, but it's only when you do the flashlight. Oh well, I mean, that can't be helped. And then periodic table of elements. I made this texture. Isn't it beautiful? Can everyone just like compliment me on this texture? Although really I ripped most of it from from a website. Someone else made it. I just added the header right there. But I believe I did credit the guy who actually made it. Thank you, everyone. It is a sexy periodic table. Thank you very much. But again, yeah, you'll notice one constant theme of this is a very different lab from before. In the beginning of Half-Life, we are in a chemistry lab, and now we are in a genetics lab. So appropriately, there's a different color scheme, and all the screens and props look a little bit different too. Well, I like the cables and hoses here. Is that from Half-Life 2? This is just the same cable. You might notice that this is just the same cable prop duplicated and rotated. That's one trick that we do often in level design and environment art. You know, you don't want to spend too much time modeling different trees and cables. In reality, you just want like 2 or 3 different trees or 2 or 3 different rocks, and then you just copy and paste and rotate them, and most of the time you can't even tell the difference unless you're like a weird nerdy nitpicker like me, and you're like, these are obviously the same. You should have rotated this one more. Oh, and then we have a little downstairs level. Maybe we should investigate that. Nothing up here. Oh, I like this poster. It feels very retro. In a way that's not really appropriate for the setting, but I don't know, it's campy and schlocky, so it fits the overall tone, but diegetically it doesn't really fit. Ooh. Yeah, look at that. Look at that hunky skeleton. Hunky aliens. There's a question from Trundle's bot. Doesn't Source have technology to allow you to trail cables all over the place? Yes, as Tin Kelp mentions in the chat, that's only for these kinds of cables right here, where I can't make them move. Oh yeah, you can see they're swaying slightly. Yeah, these are Bezier curve spline things that are procedurally created and physically simulated a little bit. Meanwhile, this is something modeled by an environment artist. So this doesn't actually really collide with anything. This is just meant to be a free hanging cosmetic thing. And then this is what can actually get light mapped or can have collision or something like that. Got stuck underneath here. Yeah, at this rate, this is gonna take forever. I just spent 15 minutes talking about the walls. Sorry about that. Wait, let's talk about this waiting room for 15 minutes though. So first of all, you might mention a lot of reused props from before. Good, very resourceful. Ooh, this is very different. This is new. Biodome Complex lab announcements. Very interesting. Dr. C. Horn. If you're not familiar with that name, that's Chris Horn, who pops into this stream every now and then. They're a level designer, lead on Black Mesa now. Time-honored game developer tradition of inserting your name into every crevice of a level. I mean, this is the real graffiti, right? This is the real form of like a tag. Oh wait, oh no, the page changed. Oh, it's actually dynamic in switching. That's cool. I would guess this is done at the material level though. You probably have like one long strip of all the different slides, and then maybe you have it timed to move, maybe? Maybe it's done with a shader VMT effect? I don't know. There's a little cool Half-Life mug. They like Half-Life merchandise here. Just some random papers on the carpet, you know, as you do. Are these dynamic fire extinguishers? No. Yeah, I like the idea of there being a waiting area here. You know, this is like the casual public reception area outside your top secret government alien conspiracy lab, right? You might just sit here and drink your coffee while people do secret experiments on aliens. Oh, and yes, phony TVs. Very good. Containment lockdown. That doesn't sound good. Also, the signage should be also maybe giving you a slight clue about the world building here, where you know, they've been studying aliens for so long that this is a dedicated lab with dedicated printed signage for everything. So that's how long the US government has known about aliens. What's going here? Is there any fun things in here? And then here I think is when we get introduced to a new enemy / weapon, and these are called Snarks. This is a very lovely whiteboard texture as well. I mean, I did the background of the whiteboard, but someone else did the writing on this. That's a really nice drawing of a Snark though, very cute. So I've already argued that hound eyes are very cute creatures in the Half-Life series, but Snarks are also cute, right? Hound eyes are like cat-sized cute things with a giant cute eye, and a Snark is like a cute little mouse with a giant puppy dog eye. And then over here we get to, in traditional Half-Life fashion, we get to see what Snarks are. You push that button. Oh my god! That's awful. You can launch Snarks at the... Oh my god. That's disgusting. That is despicable. That's a waste of Snarks. And I push that button. I don't know what that button does. Emergency Tesla discharge. Oh, that's like the decontamination thing. Interesting choice to not actually let us into that room, though. If we, no clip, let me activate my cheats. Hold on. Can no clip into this room, though, and check it out. Nice spray painted texture. Anything else in here? No, nothing really. Oh, and then we can see some Snarks here. In these little cat carriers, but it's actually interesting that you can't really see them from the window here. So it's just like you put a prop there, but you can't actually access them. Is there anything through that door? No, nothing. Let's see. Let's keep exploring here. Oh, ah! Where all these head crabs come from? I don't have any weapons either. So one other nice thing about questionable ethics is that pacing-wise, it's kind of a palate cleanser, where before we were like kind of fighting, you know, like a giant shark dinosaur or something. But now you'll notice the last 5 minutes, these are the first enemies we've actually kind of like fought and encountered. It's mostly just been eerily quiet and abandoned, like a haunted house kind of vibe, where you're like wondering, oh, where did everyone go? Why is everything empty? Is everyone dead? Oh, that's a monster in there right there. The other nice thing about questionable ethics is that pacing-wise, you'll recall in the last chapter, we lost all our weapons, right? So now that we have to restart and build up our whole weapon inventory again, oh, here's a crossbow. We have to like acquire all our weapons, and then that's another opportunity for the level designer to like breadcrumb new weapons for us and encourage us to explore, because now we can't just rely on our shotgun with a bunch of ammo we stockpiled over the past few chapters. We have to reacquire everything. I have very little ammo on most of my guns, so I have a big incentive to do a lot of exploring here. I will put smoothing group on these cylinders, though. Sorry, nitpick. Sorry. Ignore me. And I wouldn't put a light fixture here. Okay, sorry, nitpick. And I wouldn't have put... I don't like this light fixture here, too. I think... Okay, the idea of putting, like, this, like, utility task lighting on the underside of these platforms, I think is a good sentiment, because it makes it feel, yeah, industrial a little bit. But the effect overall is just a little bit awkward. It's just a little bit... Like, what are these lights doing? Why would you put accent lights here? Because you have your key light here, right? That's very clear what that's meant to do, right? This is a very harsh spotlight projecting these really nice shadows to emphasize this really cool autopsy table with this really cool scary armed buzzsaw nightmare robot thing, right? Kind of foreshadowing a future encounter we're gonna have to do in this chapter. You know, that, and yeah, it's, you know, that's cool. I like this light. That makes sense. But then these, it's like, what is this doing here? I think, and then also the shadows, like one potential reason why you might have lights underneath these stairs is that so that you can cast shadows, kind of like a power-up style, you know, gesture. But if you want that, you should put the light like down here or something, right? Maybe at the bottom of this wall where it'll feel a little bit more purposeful. Anyway, that's just like my 2 cents there. But that's my dollar. That was more than just 2 cents. Oh, this shelf feels weird. Yeah, when you cast the flashlight, it looks like these books are just floating. Oh well. Ooh, I like all these whiteboard textures have been pretty unique. These are like the alien nerve endings, it looks like. Nerve axons, but decidedly not human nerve axons, right? They're actually very cute. That's actually a very cute axon, I think. That dendrite is a little bit less cute. Oh, there's a G-Man over there. Uh-oh. It's kind of hot a little bit. I kind of feel like G-Man is like kind of cruising you throughout the entire series. Anyway, sorry, I need to get my mind out the gutter. But, I mean, he was like making eye contact with me, right? It wasn't just me, right? What'd that button do? Oh my god, that button released the bull squid? Uh-oh. Uh-oh. I didn't actually look at what that button said when I pressed the button. What does this do? Oh. Uh-oh. Oh, this is the emergency Tesla thing? This is also recreated from the original. Oh my god. I mean, yeah, I agree. If G-Man was cruising us, yeah, that wasn't like really very effective cruising. He could have been better at that. He needs to work on his cruising technique. Oh my god, poor little bull squid. Now I feel sad. Oh well. Oh, and then here's a bunch of drawings of the bull squid anatomy. That's nice. And pretty high resolution, too. I'm not sure. I don't think any scientist would plausibly write a whole paragraph at the very top right of a whiteboard, you know? That means you have to, like, reach all the way up there. Or maybe Gordon Freeman is just kind of unusually short or something. Oh, I like this. So this is like a decontamination room that echoes the Half-Life 2 decontamination room. Also, the decontamination kind of airlock. Also, the beginning of Black Mesa as well. Oh, and then there's some cracks. A little bit of strange haloing on the edge of this, though. I think I've used this decal from CG Textures before. But, it's hard to fix that haloing effect, Nice details, though. Like, notice how this metal thing is crooked, right? Because of this giant fracture in the whole shell and enclosure of the building. So this is what I consider like just nice solid level design where there's an implied task for every room and what happened, right? This was a decontamination airlock. This was like an animal testing autopsy facility thing with an emergency Tesla coil. These were some additional labs that we might probably won't come back to, right? This is like a control room up here for the airlock. At its root, I think that's ultimately what the best kind of environmental storytelling is when you're thinking about the function and the architectural program of this space, and not just putting skeletons in toilets or not just writing words with blood on the wall, right? I think the best environmental storytelling, yeah, is kind of more subtle like this. Ooh, and here's another locker room. More developers of Black Mesa. Plenty of toilet paper. Very good. You need the toilet paper in the lockers, next to the lockers. That makes a lot of sense. So these are additional developers because we couldn't fit everyone's name in the first locker room in the first chapter, so more names here. Yeah, that's a question. Is this a unisex locker room? Oh, there's no... The women's locker room is conveniently locked and does not actually exist. It seems. Well, you know, that's equal opportunity for you. I'm pretty sure that violates Title IX, but you know, we'll file a complaint. In the chat, Don asks, "Where's your locker?" My locker is in chapter 1, unfortunately. So, catch those older streams. Let's see, what else is going on here? Oh, this is like a bloody urinal? What? Okay, so if you know me, you'll know I'm a fan of urinals. I'm a connoisseur. And this is some really strange environmental storytelling, right? It's like, what is the story here? He didn't get head crabbed, right? Because his head is still intact. So maybe when this light fixture fell, it knocked him in the head and gave him like a concussion when the ceiling collapsed, and then as he fell, he knocked his head on the urinal, splattered blood everywhere, so hard that the urinal was also knocked loose as well. I like the particle effect. I don't think that's how urinals leak, but I appreciate the sentiment. Oh, there's bullet holes. As Rectus notes in the chat. Okay, yeah, okay, very observant. So I guess this was an execution? What? So someone shot this guy while he was taking a whiz? Well, anyway, I would also like just to critique this bathroom design in general. You know, you wouldn't have everything open like this. This is really strange. I do like this elevated level thing, and I like this ramp, and I like this chunky concrete boy right here. And I like these bevels, but it is strange, especially for a men's room, and men are just so creepy about peeing next to each other in general. Right, you wouldn't have this big open like structure here. You'd probably close it off a little bit more. Also, the sinks should probably go along this wall. The sinks probably wouldn't go along here, because you would assume that they'd run like plumbing line across. Anyway, I don't know. That's just a nitpick. It feels a little... The stall placement and the urinal placement feel a little bit strange, and I would probably block off more of this bathroom a little bit. Maintenance closet is locked. Oh, and then this is a locker room / bathroom with 2 doors. That's very interesting. I appreciate the slanted architecture though, and the 45-degree angles. I'm a fan of that. Oh, someone mentioned that this female bathroom slash locker room here. Yeah, you also, it would just kind of smell bad. Like, I mean, gyms might do it like this, but even a gym would probably segment them off a little bit more. Also, where are the showers? If this is a locker room, where are the showers? Theoretically, Black Mesa would have been built in like the 60s and 70s, and in that time in institutional architecture, it was pretty popular, or more popular I should say, to have more of this like public shower kind of infrastructure here. Like in my old college, some of the old buildings there in the 60s and 70s, some of the lecture halls had showers, because the idea was that you would bike to work or bike to class or something, and then you would shower in the basement and then go up to class or something. I don't know. But someone mentioned in the chat that this toilet does exist here in this map. Let's try to find it. Where are we here? Oh, we're right here. You are here. Okay, so theoretically, headcanon, map canon, that's where the women's room would have been. Oh, and I like that there's a maintenance room that connects the two. That's kind of interesting. Rectus points out maybe there's an idea where you like enter here, you take a shit, then you go down here and you suit up, and then so there is like a very purposeful flow to this. Maybe, yeah, maybe that's how it works. Because if we keep going, we're going to get into, yeah, more public areas, right? Oh, this room feels awkward to me. I think part of it is the lighting feels really flat, so it kind of emphasizes how sparse and empty this room kind of feels, and how flat it feels. And then also, when you have flat lighting like this, it emphasizes the repetition of all these props. It just feels like there's something missing in the middle of this giant space. I wouldn't say it's necessarily unrealistic, because you might have rooms that certainly look like this, but I think from like a human lived-in perspective, it does feel strange to have this big open empty space here. I like that there's a lounge sort of area here. Oh, and some VHS tapes. And a picture of a beloved cat. Aw, look at that cat. Some weird papers that are taped to the wall. And then, what's this? This is a Book of Mormon? Okay. I don't think that would be in a government institution, but sure. I mean, nowadays, current administration, there's probably Bibles everywhere, but someone in the chat asks, were there female developers on Black Mesa Source? Yes, there were a few. I mean, I left in like 2009, I forget which year, but around then there was I think at least one level designer who I knew from the modding scene, named Talia. I think Talia mostly worked on the On a Rail chapter, and then there's also Victoria, who does a lot of the voice acting for the women in this game as well. But I would agree that the gender makeup of the Black Mesa team reflects the gender imbalance across the game industry in general, where there are unfortunately very few women for a variety of bad institutional reasons. Oh, there's a pizza here, uneaten. Pizza for sale. Pizza uneaten. How's that for a story? Pizza uneaten. 2 words. Wait, what? Who just talked to me? No, they're dead. I don't think they said anything to me. Okay, so you should not put the soft drink machine dispenser on the back counter. That makes no sense, because you should put it on the front. Again, the same critique we would level at the same person at the previous cafeteria that we saw in the office complex chapter, where you can tell that obviously an American did not make this, because one thing, because again, curry would not normally be on a menu, especially in the American Southwest. They definitely wouldn't have curry. And also the idea of having like hamburger and cheeseburgers, like separate things like that, also wouldn't be put. Anyway, I don't want to re-legislate, put this menu on trial again, but suffice to say, we've covered this, how the cafeteria design in Black Mesa can be tightened up a little bit. Yes, this is very much like a UK chicken shop, not really.
The way out would be to find someone with scanner access who
this
can
guy
open the
was the
front
one
door.
who was talking.
I'm pretty sure there's a few scientists hiding out somewhere in the labs. Maybe with the both of us looking, we can track them down and get them to let us out of here.
Oh, and here he's giving you some exposition and telling you how you're going to have to solve this puzzle.
Let's get the hell out of here.
Which is also in the original, and a frequent mechanic that Half-Life and Black Mesa have been employing for a while now. This office also feels a little bit flat and awkward, a little bit phoned in and copied and pasted. Maybe that's okay, because it helps sell that mundane institutional feeling. But I feel like you could have done a little bit more here. I don't know. Also, I would have put maybe like a health kit or something in one of these cubicles to reward me for exploring. Even though I don't even need health, but it would be nice to be asked. Oh, that guy got killed. Oh, he has a picture of a crystal. He has like a framed. It's like... It's like, oh yeah, sure, I keep framed pictures of my favorite crystals in my office, right? It's almost kind of witchy a little bit.
But we should get going soon.
Excuse me?
Sorry, Doc.
Excuse me? Yeah, you better apologize. We'll go when I say I'm ready. And I like that this is, yeah, like a reception desk, but again, yeah, this whole corner just feels a little bit unfinished, set dressing wise. You could be doing a lot more here. Oh, okay, that's back to the cafeteria. A little bit more health. Ooh, pipe props over the wires. That's interesting. I'm not sure how I feel about that. That feels a little bit weird. I mean, I like how the light catches on them a little bit, but...
Are we getting any closer?
Actually, no, I don't like how the light catches on them. I think that's the main problem, where they're actually lit very flatly. So they just look like these big, flat, unlit hoses. I should probably change to a gun without him with them. Uh-oh.
It's Latin.
Oh. Foreigners.
Oh.
What do you think these civvies we would...
Oh, who's shooting at me? Oh, we should use our brand new. There we go. Yeah, so I guess there's supposed to be like racist jock types. I guess that's what these grunts are. Oh, now we get a little bit more MP5 ammo, so that's always good. Where did the security guard go? Why didn't he follow me? Uh-oh, now I have to do the whole level transition. Uh-oh.
Let me get out of your way.
Oh my god, you did not help at all. Okay, here's the deal. I'm gonna try to let all the friendly NPCs live until I have no more use for them, and then I'll murder them as before. It seemed like that was a little bit of an error or a bug, though, where he should have helped me in that fight scene just now, but oh well.
You go on without me.
Let's see. So this is the main lobby of questionable ethics. One reason why a lot of level designers like the questionable ethics chapter is that layout-wise, let me just spoil it for you real quick. The layout is a little bit non-linear. So we're in this big lobby, big bright sunlit lobby that looks pretty nice. And then there's this whole big complex full of all these little nooks and crannies that we're going to be exploring. Although it looks like we won't be able to get through very far before I have to stop the stream. Probably get halfway through it. But there's this big, like, kind of lobby hub area. So it's a little bit of a non-linear loop kind of thing, where we're going to choose one direction and kind of circle around and then come back this way back to the lobby. So it feels kind of like, layout-wise, this is a hub with 3 or 4 different spokes with one central locked gate. Our main objective for this is to find a scientist who can activate this retina scanner, and that will open this door to let us go outside. Oh, look at that sunshine. That's beautiful. But to do that, we're going to have to explore the rest of the facility. So, again, this is the kind of level design that usually is considered good level design, where it's not just a hallway. It has some semblance of like how an actual alien research facility would be structured. So there's a gesture to realism, but it's also asking the player to remember where they've been and navigate it and explore a little bit too. So the flow of this, the flow and the critical path of this chapter is actually very linear. The first time a player plays this, they will see this locked door, but for all they know, this is a fake locked door. They actually don't know how they'll actually be coming back here, really. So the flow of this is actually pretty linear. These elevators don't actually work. You have to go through here, and as if to emphasize and make sure that you check this out, they put the soldiers here. It's really important that you put the soldiers here because that will help the player notice. That will increase the chances of the player noticing this door, which is the critical path where we have to go. Let's see in the chat. If the guard had followed me, someone mentioned in the chat that the security guard would have had some cool stealth sequence dialogue. Oh well, too bad. McLoganog in the chat, hey, mentions this follows a locked doors before keys pattern to give the player a goal before you show the player how to unlock the goal. Yeah, classic gating pattern. And then third person Phil asks, can't you kill civilians in this game? or can you soft lock yourself in the level if you kill all the scientists or they come out of the dispenser. So, for example, this security guard is actually useless. You can actually kill him and it doesn't really matter. And he also could have died in the fight, theoretically. So, because he doesn't actually have retina scan access. So you don't actually really need him. But, you know, I'll reload that so that, you know, we can hear some of his special dialogue. But when we encounter scientists later, yes, it will be game over if we kill them. Let's see. Let's talk about the architecture and layout of this lobby briefly.
Hey, did you hear something?
Oh, I have to activate my cheats again. Oops. Let's see. So here is where the big empty floor space works. Previously, I was critiquing the cafeteria area as feeling too big, open, and empty. But here, when you give more of a reason why that is, you know, it feels big and open because this is a big public open reception area with this really nice technological pillar thing with this very distinctive window pattern that's been recreated pretty faithfully from the original Half-Life. And also this really interesting seal with this, very nice Superbus via I don't speak Latin. I don't know how to pronounce that. I'm just a dumb jock. I'm sorry.
Thinking what I'm thinking.
No, I'm not. Oh, can I lead him to the retina scanner? Someone in the chat says I should.
Excuse me.
No, I can't make him use it. Oh well. So again, I would just say this is a good example of big open floor space that works okay. Now, combat-wise, I think the jury's a little bit more out. So here we have just a bunch of cover here in the middle. So it's obvious that the game wants us to run over here and fight around the middle. This is a classic kind of ring around the rosy combat arena pattern where when you're fighting an enemy, you might like circle strafe and then keep this obstacle in between you and then just kind of strafe side to side. Or in a cover shooter, we might hide and duck behind here and then duck out, slice the pie, jut out, take a few shots, come back in here. So that's how this is supposed to function. And then over here is just a big open no man's land that you're not really supposed to step foot out into.
No hard feelings, right?
Superbus via Inscienta. That's what someone says in the chat. Thank you, Tin Kelp.
Oops. Sorry.
I like this big giant modeled out. It looks modeled out. Yeah, this isn't a texture. They modeled this out. Nice work. This like sculpture here, it helps emphasize this as a key door. And then there's some nice symmetry going on here as well, which makes it feel more monumental, I think. But arena-wise, these grunts were supposed to die very fast, right? Notice these two grunts, when they walked over, their bodies have disappeared, but they basically didn't have a chance. They had zero cover here. I sniped them from really far away. Uh-oh, he just reminded me to reload. Let's see, anything else? And then they stuck a grunt up here to take pot shots. I don't know why you'd put a grunt up here, though. I guess that's just to make sure you know that there's a mezzanine up here. It's not actually accessible. It's just for NPCs to take shots at you. And I believe, is the mezzanine in the original? I don't think there is one.
Did you tell someone to meet us here or something?
Okay, anyway, let's continue. So we have this S-shaped pattern here, this hallway. Usually you do this S-shaped pattern in the hallway to break line of sight, because the S-shaped pattern means you can't see all the way down, and that means you can hide the previous lobby scene once we walk down this hallway. So you'll notice here, if I have the wireframe on, that's exactly what happens, right? Where that this S bend is breaking the line of sight, but as I walk forward, it's rendering more of the level. But now if I turn back, it's hiding more of the lobby, although not quite as much as we'd hope, it seems. We have dark lighting here, papers on the ground. You know, that can't be a good sign. Whenever there's a dark room with papers on the ground, you just gotta run. Because nothing good is gonna happen. Here we see more bullet holes, a little bit more environmental storytelling. Kind of like the urinal, but this guy died here in this conference room. I like this conference room. I think this is well done. I would probably copy and paste this conference room and use that to fill out some of the earlier sections that I was criticizing for feeling a little bit too empty. Ooh, can I go in here? This is like a little security guard room. Oh, and here's a bunch of shotgun ammo. That's nice. There's a button here, I guess for these security shutters. Would have been nice if this was interactive, but otherwise it just feels a little bit awkward to have this detail here.
Any idea of how many of our crew have died?
Did I pick up everything?
Oh,
Oh, this was another crossbow, in case you missed the crossbow earlier. Oh, and this is a copy-paste of the airlock stuff we were looking at, too. So, copy and pasting helps you save time, and it also helps establish architectural patterns. Copy and pasting is good. Too much copy and paste is bad, though. You have to know when to stop, just like anything else. Just like alcohol, you know, in moderation is good. Ah! Okay, dude, you got this. You got this. Shoot the head crab behind you. Shoot the head crab behind you. Shoot the... God damn it. Useless. I would have thought his AI would have heard the head crab behind him, or would have heard the combat sounds and turned around, but I guess not. Instead, he had to be all passive-aggressive, concern trolling me, and be like, you better reload. I'm totally gonna kill him at the end of this. Oh, look at this. Aww. Oh, look at all these happy photos. Aw, that's nice. Look at these creepy stock photos. It's a little bit too low resolution, though. If you're gonna blow them up, if you're gonna blow up this decal so much, it's, you know, if you just walk up to it, you know, it already... So many pictures of trucks? Why are there pictures of trucks? I mean, a straight male obviously built this photo wall, right? Vaccinated, get a booster. That feels kind of erotic to me. I don't know why. Anything here? Oh, there's sonar? Okay, that's interesting. The big, like, electrical circuit diagram. Looks very authentic and researched, right?
We should probably be doing something.
It would be so cool if there was actually, like, a puzzle about interpreting the circuit diagram. Maybe that's like a fun Easter egg. Like if you know how to read this circuit diagram, you know where a secret button is to do something. You know, reward all the engineers who are playing your game. Or just push this giant big red button. What does this do? Oh, it activates the Tesla coil as we've seen before. Oh wait, I can't. Oh, now I can come out. There's a flashlight here. I guess the flashlight is here to emphasize the stairwell here.
Let me grab you.
Uh-oh. Now we have to do this big fight. Why is it spawning the enemies so slowly though? Shouldn't it be
Check your ammo, Doc.
Shouldn't it spawn more monsters on me? That was a little bit disappointing. I thought there was gonna be like a big fight or something.
My bad, Freeman.
I'm being told in the chat that I should put the security guard down here and then activate the Tesla coil.
This is as far as I go.
You're right, this is as far as you go. Can we see him? Oh, and he just vaporized. Yeah, no longer questionable ethics. In fact, it's very certain ethics. With 0 questions. Oh, and a guy's pistol ammo. That's nice.
Put him down.
Oh, it's so dark. I can't even see him. There we go. Did I get him? Yeah. But the fight in that room, I thought there was going to be a big fight, but instead it was a little bit of a waste. I don't know. Of that whole big room and set piece. Oh well. Any more grunts to fight? That grunt fight actually did surprise me. I didn't think I was gonna have to fight grunts just now. Oh, these are trip mines. That's not good. Oh, a lot of trip mines. Well, maybe let's go this way? Oh, this is backtracking? Oops. All the hallways look pretty similar, so... Have I been here before? I don't know what's going on. Now I'm like super lost. Oh, I can go in here? Oh wait, so maybe that fight could have been different. Maybe I could have gone... So I went through this door, but I also could have gone through this door. And then maybe when I fought these grunts, they could have fallen back and run into this room, and then we could have done a fun fight in this room? Maybe that's how it could have gone down? I don't know. Oh wait, oh, was that door locked before? So I could only unlock this by going back there? Oh, never mind then. Oh. Got the jump on him. Oh, a little bit of storytelling. That guy just killed that guy. Well, I avenged you. Although, if this guy was alive, I probably would have killed him anyway. Storytelling, pacing-wise, I think part of the intention here of you finding all these dead scientists is you're supposed to be like, oh, the military keeps, like, thwarting me because I can't find a scientist who's alive. Instead, I keep getting there just too late and seeing all these scientists getting killed, and then they can't open the door for me, right? I think that's the feeling that we're supposed to be getting, but I don't know. I think you can do a little bit more to connect those two dots a little bit to make it seem a little bit more like intentional and methodical. Oh, what's that doing? Was that going to trigger the trip mines for me? Oh, uh-oh. And it just triggered these alien grunts. Uh-oh. Oh, and now we get to see the fight happen. Oh. Uh-oh. Let's run down and see what happens. Now we get the multi-faction fights that I wanted. Oops, did I go the wrong way? Oh, that looks like the grunts won the fight, though. Oh, do I get a B gun? Oh, no, I don't get a B gun yet. But soon. Soon I get the B gun. Oh, I like that this is like a fun, slippery room. A little bit disappointing that there's no supplies or rewards for exploring this. The decal here could be better, though. Like, this wall texture, the frost doesn't look very good. I think I would probably add more specularity to make it feel more frosted and change that to feel less like the silhouette of a tree. It feels like leafy or something. It's a little strange. Now we're in this big room. And there's a big elevator, but we can't use it. Maybe we'll have to use it later. Oh. How'd they know I was here? Who was he even talking to? Oh well. Oh, I think that's from the original too. If I recall in the original, there's also a shotgun grunt who's waiting in this dead end to try to ambush you. And then there we see a giant rotating nightmare robot. And then we see some live scientists on the other side. So this is supposed to be like the main encounter that they're going to be showing off for you here. Where somehow you have to figure out a way to get to those scientists and help them out. I think you could have done maybe a better job of foregrounding those scientists, though. I like how they're choreographed and you can see their body language. I think I would have put a much brighter light to have a nicer silhouette behind them, though. So you can have some nice backlight effect. Emphasize that there's people there. And then this is unbreakable glass, so there's no way for us to get there. We're gonna have to find another way around to get into this nightmare like torture porn robot surgery theater. And there's all these like dismembered limbs in there. Ew. Oh, we're a bit over an hour, so I think we're probably going to stop here. I think this is probably about the halfway point. We should probably stop here. So anyway, thanks everyone for hanging out for me for the past hour. Next week we will finish up questionable ethics and try to figure out our way into that creepy giant trap room and see the rest of this interesting non-linear loopy kind of level. So see you next week. Oh, and as a reminder, check out other people's level design streams as well. For example, I think JP LeBreton still does WOD Wednesdays, probably in the evening Pacific time on Wednesdays on Twitch. So definitely check out JP's channel as well, where JP plays Doom wads, randomly selected Doom wads. And that's really entertaining. And that's also a very different type of level design from Half-Life 1. So it's always good to get like a wide, diverse range of different types and modes of level design. Yes, Tin Kelp just posted the link in the chat. Yes, tune into JP 6.5 hours from now. Anyway, thanks everyone for tuning in and see you next week. Bye.